Mental beauty is meant to elicit a new way of thinking, living, and breathing. Mental beauty is meant to equalize the weight of physical and mental well-being. Mental beauty is meant to accept your whole self and others, regardless of ailment, compromise, or imperfection. Mental beauty is meant to be recognized and redefined as a do-over in thoughts, mindsets, perceptions, and future insights. So embrace it, embody it, become it, and own it boldly. And at the same time, your expression of it sparks curiosity and becomes someone else's learning, inspiration, motivation, empowerment, and hope. There are numerous interpretations of mental beauty as you give yourself permission to make it yours as you see fit. And no matter the perspective, with the openness of this invitational phrase of the mental beauty rethink, there is no right or wrong, good or bad, and absolutely zero judgment. Mental beauty allows you a new and clear lens to see mental well-being in the absence of stigma. Mental beauty becomes a much more invitational approach to break down barriers of mental stigma. Mental beauty is enveloped with full unconditional acceptance of yourself and of others. Mental beauty has the bountiful capacity to normalize mental well-being. When you embrace the mental beauty rethink concept, you automatically ignite that positive shift towards breaking down barriers of mental stigma. The collective richness of what this phrase has to offer is beneficial to all individuals, no matter what walk of life you come from or live in, all due to its shield against any form of negative connotation associations, while redefining what overall mental health is truly all about. Through the embodiment of the mental beauty rethink, each of you out there provide an opportunity to every individual in your community to be seen in equal light to physical health, which in turn achieves the endless possibilities for creating emotionally safe spaces for all to be in, while we fully immerse in self-healing, self-discovery, and self-fulfillment. I encourage each one of you out there to claim the mindset of the mental beauty rethink as your default way to view your world. Let this be a vow to each and every single one of us that we strive to make each of our communities globally open to emotional risk-taking, vulnerability, authenticity, unleashing, redefining, and continued storytelling. So, let's break that silence and tap into mental beauty. This is Salima Jadafji, your podcast host, a practicing social worker, and your mental wellness connoisseur. I am tremendously passionate and optimistic regarding all things mental health, with over 2 decades of experience in mental health across diverse sectors, including community services, private organizations, healthcare, and education. In my thriving private practice, as a specialist in transformational processes and trauma-informed practices, I lead as an expert in the mental health field, helping individuals navigate the complexities of anxiety, depression, perfectionism, grief, workplace and situational stressors, sleep disorders, among other challenges. Together, we navigate complexities using my deep understanding and professional skill set to empower my clients to regain control and thrive. My approach is deeply compassionate and committed, rooted in my life's purpose to serve and facilitate your journey towards healing and empowerment. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show as we step into a direction that allows us to dive deeper into mental beauty. Episode 107 of the Dare to Share Your Untold Story podcast, Mental Beauty segments. Today, we are focusing on regaining control, even when you feel stripped of having control. I'm thrilled to have you all here as we continue our journey together. For those who are new to the podcast, a warm welcome from your self-care pro and mental wellness connoisseur. You're joining a community committed to breaking down the barriers of mental stigma and embracing the concept of mental beauty, a term which I have coined to intentionally invite each of you to embrace the nuances of what mental health is all about, while taking an approach that allows each of you to normalize, prioritize, equalize, and embody an invitational means of seeing and accepting mental well-being, and of course, without judgment. Again, welcome to episode 107 of the Dare to Share Your Untold Story podcast, the Mental Beauty segments. I'm excited to continue our journey together. Remember to subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast. Together, we can break down stigma and promote the mental beauty rethink to its highest level. So, thank you for being here, and let's get started. As we get started, please remember the insights shared in this podcast are intended to enlighten and entertain, not to replace professional medical advice. If you have any concerns or need guidance, please seek help from your healthcare providers. Take gentle care of yourself and know that support is always available. Today, we are diving into an incredibly important topic: regaining control even when you feel stripped of having any control. This discussion is inspired by episode 25, titled "The Dis-Ease of Trauma, Murder, and Death Came Her Way," featuring Carys Cragg. Carys' journey is a powerful example of resilience, transformation, and breaking free from the chains of tragedy. Her story, which she frames as a pursuit of understanding and healing, shows how confronting her past turns grief into growth. It's about embracing the complexity of human experiences, no matter how challenging they may be. Carys' open sharing serves as a permission slip for all of us to confront our deepest pain and admit our vulnerabilities. Her courage in corresponding with her father's murderer demonstrates that healing can come from the most unexpected places. As Carys' story beautifully illustrates, our most painful experiences are not just scars, but potential sources of profound insight and personal growth. In essence, she shows us that even our darkest moments can lead to light. They are opportunities for beauty to emerge. Now, let's listen to some powerful insights from Carys' journey. I'm also bringing forward a trend. It's called the Mental Beauty Rethink. So what comes to mind? Yeah, tell me, what comes to mind when you hear the words mental beauty? What strikes for you?
I love this term mental beauty. I have not seen it in that kind of phrasing or positioning before. And so I just love it. I love it. What makes me think about it makes me think about growth and opportunity and like changing lives, ourselves and others, and expanding what we mean by how we live in the world, right? I think for way too long, based on so many different contexts and reasons, and so much historical ghosts in kind of what we currently think of mental health. I think the idea of mental health brings us like looking to the future and saying, okay, like how can we live our lives with mental beauty, and how can we support that, or change our environments to support that, and speak to each other in that manner, as opposed to perhaps the more pathological weight that sometimes the words mental health brings.
That's exactly, you said it so well. That is exactly the thought process behind it, right? And part of the deconstruction is to look at it from a lens of something that's accepting, right? Mental beauty.
So you and I are in the right place.
We're definitely in the right place. Thank you, Carys Cragg, for sharing such a profound and transformational message. The term mental beauty resonates deeply, offering a fresh perspective on how we view mental health and personal growth. Carys' journey is nothing short of remarkable. At the tender age of 11, she experienced an unimaginable tragedy when her father was murdered by a stranger who broke into their home in the middle of the night. She opens up about the visceral impact this had on her body, her unique coping mechanisms, and how grieving looked different for each family member. 2 decades later, in pursuit of answers and peace, Carys took the extraordinary step of corresponding with her father's murderer in jail. What strikes me most about Carys's mental beauty rethink is its focus on future forward thinking. She invites us to reconsider how we view the world and mental health, encouraging us to adopt new thought processes and shifted perspectives. The term mental beauty itself opens up a world of promise and opportunity to cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves and others. Carys's enthusiasm for this concept is palpable. She sees immense hope in reframing how we perceive mental health, highlighting the richness and light it can bring when embraced fully. By leading by example, she shows us the transformative power of this approach. What Carys has shared today brings a surge of hope for the future. It reinforces our belief that we can make a real difference in breaking down the barriers of mental health stigma by spreading the mental beauty rethink as a new way to see mental well-being. We're paving the way for a more compassionate and understanding world. I encourage you all to go back and listen to Carys's full episode if you haven't already. Her words about embracing vulnerability and authenticity are incredibly freeing and offer a powerful roadmap for personal growth and healing. The concept of mental beauty challenges us to look beyond traditional views of mental health. It invites us to see the potential for growth, the beauty in our struggles, and the opportunity to change not just our own lives, but the lives of others. It's about expanding our understanding of how we live in the world and supporting ourselves through this new, empowering lens. When you have a chance, go back and listen to the full episode. You will definitely be inspired if you ask yourself, how can I live with mental beauty? How can I support myself and others through this perspective? What environments and thought frameworks need to shift to embrace this concept fully? By doing so, we can move away from the sometimes pathological weight that mental health discussions can carry and towards a more holistic, positive approach to well-being. What Carys has shared today with healthy momentum for the future brings hope that we can make a difference in breaking down the barriers of mental stigma and spreading the mental beauty rethink as a new way to see mental well-being can help us get there. But don't go anywhere just yet. Okay, my friends? Stay with me for a moment as I have some important insights to share with you first. And then, of course, you can hop off and listen to her full episode. Okay, let's explore how Carys's experiences align with the mental beauty rethink concept and dive deeper into her journey. Carys Cragg's story is a powerful testament to the human capacity for healing and transformation. Her journey, which she encapsulates in the headline, "I met my father's murderer, and then I set myself free," is a profound exploration of trauma, grief, and ultimately liberation. At the age of 11, Carys's life was irrevocably changed when her father was murdered by a stranger who broke into their home. This traumatic event set her on a long path of healing, anger, and exploration. For years, Carys and her family coped with their loss in various ways, often focusing on celebrating her father's life and keeping his spirit alive through rituals and remembrances. Externally, Carys and her siblings appeared to thrive, excelling in academics and seeming to cope well. However, beneath the surface, they were in survival mode, perfecting the art of looking okay, while carrying the weight of their unspoken trauma. A turning point came when a friend asked Carys if she knew anything about the incarcerated man who murdered her father. This simple question, asked without the usual shock or pity, shifted Carys's perspective and motivated her to seek answers. Carys's healing journey took an unexpected turn when she decided to correspond with her father's murderer. This brave step became the basis for her book, a process that allowed her to focus on her narrative and learn to communicate her story effectively. Through this journey, Carys learned the power of confronting her past, the importance of sharing her story, and the liberation that comes from facing one's deepest fears. Her experience shows us that healing is not always linear, that it can come from unexpected sources, and that even the most painful experiences can lead to profound personal growth. Carys's story embodies the essence of mental beauty. It reminds us that our traumas don't define us, but our response to them can lead to transformation. By sharing her journey, Carys offers hope to others who have experienced trauma, showing that it's possible to move from survival to truly living, from being trapped by the past to embracing the present and looking forward to the future. Now that you have heard Carys's mental beauty rethink and are clearer on her message that our traumas don't define us, but how we respond is essential for the path we lead, I'd like to share a powerful breakthrough story from one of my clients, whom we'll call John. In therapy, John began to unravel this deep-seated impact of childhood trauma that had unknowingly shaped much of his adult life. For years, John had relied on alcohol as a coping mechanism, a way to numb the pain and avoid confronting the unresolved issues from his past. The dependency had become so ingrained that he didn't fully recognize how it had woven itself into his daily routine, subtly affecting his marital relationship and leading to moments of disconnect with his partner. As we worked together, John slowly began to see how his drinking was not just a habit, but a crutch that kept him from truly engaging with his emotions and addressing the root causes of his pain. The journey was not easy, but John made a powerful commitment to himself to dive deep into his past, to explore the core issues that had long been buried, and to face them head on. Through this process, John learned the importance of reprioritizing himself. He realized that much of his behavior had been driven by a need to please others, to prove himself, and to accommodate everyone else's needs at the expense of his own well-being. By shifting his focus inward, he began to apologize less for who he was and what he needed, and instead started to assert healthy boundaries. In therapy, we worked on separating facts from fiction his mind had created over the years, those self-defeating narratives that had fueled his insecurities and dependence on alcohol. By focusing on the true goals of his conversations and interactions, John developed essential communication skills that strengthened his relationship with his partner and, more importantly, with himself. He learned to engage in open, honest dialogue, set boundaries that protected his well-being, and gradually build a life that was no longer controlled by the shadows of his past. This breakthrough marked a significant shift for John, allowing him to embrace a healthier, more authentic version of himself. This transformation wonderfully illustrates the concept of mental beauty by showcasing the power of self-awareness and personal growth. John's journey embodies mental beauty through his courage to confront past traumas, embrace vulnerability, and prioritize his well-being. By rewriting his internal narrative and developing healthier coping mechanisms, John demonstrates how mental beauty emerges when we commit to authentic self-discovery and healing. His story highlights that mental beauty isn't about perfection, but rather the ongoing process of becoming our truest, healthiest selves, ultimately leading to improved relationships and a more fulfilling life. Now, I hear you saying to yourself, Salima, that is awesome for John and Carys, but what I want to know is how I can take charge too. Awesome sauce, because that is what we are about to do now. So, on that note, let's look at some practical tips that can help you embrace your own mental beauty. Here are 3 practical tips for trauma survivors to help them break free from societal resistance and misguided views on their traumatic experiences. The first one, educate yourself and others. Empower yourself with knowledge about trauma and its effects. Understanding the science and psychology behind trauma can help you validate your own experiences and challenge societal misconceptions. When you feel ready to share your insights with others, whether through conversations, writing, or advocacy. By educating those around you, you help to dismantle stigma and create a more informed and compassionate community. The second tip, surround yourself with supportive allies. Seek out individuals and communities that understand and respect your journey, whether it's through therapy, support groups, or friendships with other survivors. Being around those who acknowledge and support your healing process can provide strength and encouragement needed to break free from societal pressures. These allies can offer validation and solidarity, helping you resist the urge to conform to harmful societal expectations. And the third tip here is practice self-compassion and assertiveness. Give yourself permission to prioritize your well-being over societal expectations. This means practicing self-compassion, being kind to yourself when faced with judgment or criticism, and developing assertiveness to set boundaries. Recognize that your healing journey is unique, and it's okay to say no to situations or people that invalidate your experiences. Assert your right to heal in your own way and at your own pace, free from external pressures. It's essential to remember that healing from trauma is a personal journey that doesn't conform to societal timelines or expectations. Embrace your unique path, validate your experiences, and surround yourself with understanding and support. By educating yourself and others, building a network of allies, and practicing self-compassion and assertiveness, you can break free from societal resistance and misguided views. Your healing process is valid, and you have the right to navigate it in a way that feels authentic and empowering to you. Stay committed to your mental beauty journey, knowing that every step you take towards understanding and accepting yourself is a powerful act of self-love and resilience. Now, I'd love to hear how you implemented these tips and what impact it had on you. Share your experiences in the comments. Let's take a moment to reflect on today's discussion. As we wrap up today's episode, let's move into our closing reflection, where I'll share a special tool that I know will help you integrate today's learnings into your own mental beauty practice. Inspired by Carys's episode, this is what you want to reflect on and remember to practice daily. Listen to your own inner voice and inner guidance, regardless of what the external world may be influencing you with. Choose you and your voice, and this will be your first step in really honoring and taking care of yourself. One powerful self-care technique to help people listen to their own inner voice and inner guidance is daily mindfulness meditation focused on inner reflection. How you do that is begin each day by setting aside just 10 to 15 minutes in a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths to center yourself. And as you settle into your breath, gently guide your attention inward, focusing on what you truly feel and need at that moment without any external influence. Ask yourself, what is my inner voice telling me today? Allow whatever thoughts or feelings arise to come to the surface without judgment or the need to act on them immediately. This practice helps you tune into your authentic self, distinguishing your true desires and needs from the noise of the external world. By consistently listening to your inner voice through this meditative practice, you begin to strengthen your connection to your own guidance, making it easier to choose yourself in decisions big and small. This daily ritual becomes the first step in truly honoring and taking care of yourself, as it encourages you to prioritize your own well-being above external pressures. Now, doesn't that feel so awesome and fantastic? I thought so. All right. Well, thank you all for being here, for supporting this podcast, and for being your unique, awesome selves. I'm excited about the amazing things we have on the horizon. Stay in the know about our upcoming events just for you, including our spring and late summer retreats and our webinars and digital supports on our website at daretoheal.co, or go to bit.ly/join the Dare to Heal community to sign up for our Dare to Hear newsletter and become part of our community of mental beauty focused peeps. Plus, gain more tips and juicy insights like you enjoyed today, delivered directly into your inbox. So until next time, remember, you are worthy, you are beautiful, and your mental health matters. So now before you go, if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to check out episode 25 for more insights from Carys Cragg on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. So now you can kick your feet back and hit play to give this episode a listen. Please recommend these episodes to your friends or loved ones, and let's spread the message of mental beauty. P.S. My lovely mental beauty listeners, I still dare you to share the podcast with anyone who could benefit from these insights. If you haven't already, remember to subscribe, leave a review, share something amazing you want me to give a shout out for on your behalf. Just send an email to mentalbeautycommunity@gmail.com. Share your desire to share your untold story as a guest. All you have to do is visit daretoshare.co, scroll down to where it says submit your story, and select submit now. And share today's mental beauty tip with a friend or a loved one. Spread mental beauty, stop the stigma. All right. Once again, thank you for being part of the Dare to Share Your Untold Story podcast, mental beauty segments, and embracing the uniqueness of the mental beauty rethink, which allows us all to have a voice in breaking down the barriers of mental stigma.